the role of a silly clown, but I won't turn my back on life. One day I'll be rocked away. All I do is embrace the one that falls. Discord preside society, your society, planting creeps into society, your society. I'm a fool, I know nothing, I take the role of a silly clown, but I won't turn my back on life. I'm a fool, maybe worthless, but it's the word creating my face. So all I do is take a fall and pray.
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Today we're going to be working on zombies and ziggurats. Most specifically, we're going to be working on zombies and ziggurats, the combat section. Yes, we're going to be doing combat finally. You know, one of the main, things of this entire game. Last time we worked on stuff, just kind of stuff, and making dungeons able to be delved into. As you can kind of see here, I added some more artwork here and there. This one turned out really well. I did find this. This is technically I just found on like a licensed site. You kind of see right here. Jonathan Torres. This is public domain. Generally speaking, I did add a bunch of bags. I did take a little bit of inspiration from what's its name? Outward. I'm not a huge fan of Outward, personally. I don't much care for the game. I think the game is kind of stupid, personally. I should finish it one day, but doing it is a bitch. It's just a pain in the ass. Just a nightmarish pain in the ass. Generally speaking, what I did with bags is you get a carrying bonus. Pretty much, you get more supplies and carry more shit with you. The raw bonus. Everyone's going to be starting off though with a traveling pack. You pretty much have +4 space to work around with, but I added some other more unique ones, such as the Pilgrim's Pack, where if you buy it in the Golden City, it's 15 yuan. If you buy it outside, it can run up to 750 yuan. All it does is allow you to stack prayer strips up to 20. Other more unique ones are like the Adventurer's Treasure Chest, which allows you to stack mez up to 20 and rations up to 5. There. Standard iron and where the fuck did I put the slop? There, slop rations up to stack up to 5. Pretty much the idea. What I wanted to do with some of these is allow you to increase the stack amount. Like you could stack more things together in a single spot, or it just gives you raw more. The highest one actually is the trade backpack. And, it's a sophisticated series of stats. Any raw goods you have actually to stock up to 5. Which means, hey, I'm traveling with a bunch of, I don't know, wood. If you were traveling with a bunch of wood, it might be, size 8, but you can technically stack 8 of them together. 5 of them together, though. The problem is your initiative penalty. You kind of see there, you have an initiative penalty of usually about 2, 4, 6, including the trade backpack with a whopping -8. How I plan on doing initiative is still a little bit up in the air. Half of me wants to do a set initiative value, other half of me just wants to do an opposed check effectively for it. Whatever it is, though, you're not going to have a good time with it. If you have like a really bad penalty to it. So that's going to be kind of an encouragement, which is you get into combat, perhaps you want to spend an action to throw off your backpack, which is going to take away something, especially if you have things such as your turtle shell, which adds +5 endurance for -4. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a little bit more health that you have. Most likely, what I suspect people are going to gravitate toward is people are going to gravitate toward more just keeping their traveling pack as long as they can, because it's just a pretty solid, good thing to have. I can suspect one player having like, oh, I have the Brigand's pack. My job is to be the loot goblin. I'm supposed to carry everything. My job is to do this. My job is to carry the thing. My job is to carry the thing. Like, you could picture one person having like a really big pack, but not everybody. I would say like the most like raw upgrade for people would be going up to a Marsh Runner. Because it's not only very easily hidden, it's just better. It's technically 0, it's very cheap to get, and it's just a little bit more for a lot less, and it just is hellishly expensive. It is the third most expensive bag technically. But it's useful in its own right, something that's going to be with you forever. So this is more of like larger term investments, where it's like, yeah, hey, I want to get an adventurer's treasure chest. If I get one of these bags, I get a little bit of initiative penalty, but I can carry a lot more shit, including Mez, when Mez is valuable. You kind of see here, I did completely forget about, I forgot about shields. I will be putting shields in, not right now, but soon. You kind of see here, just kind of cleaned up some things. Did the madness levels, these are pretty much the exact same. Today, though, is combat. Today is Combarito Burrito. We're going to be learning how to bap the shit out of our enemies. Doesn't seem too exciting, however, this is important in its own right. Also added this, because looked cool, and I thought it looked cool, so I kept it. But yeah, that's the plan today, is to do combat. I have a few ideas for combat, though. Now, this is kind of the amusing thing, is my few ideas for combat kind of boil down to, how much do I want to abstract it? Do I want to really abstract everything and put things even on just like a battle map with no grids or anything? Just it's like you are on this nebulous map. Fight it out. Another half of me wants to give everybody a grid, because it's been a while since we've done grid combat, because grid combat's always interesting in its own right. But I couldn't really find any like cohesive, like this is what defines OSR when it comes to combat, because it is kind of nebulous in a lot of different ways. So I thought, what do I want? What do I want? What does Notepad add-on want? The first initial thought is actually rely heavily on Darkest Dungeon, if anything. For those who don't know what Darkest Dungeon does, if I go here, we'll just use this. What Darkest Dungeon does is you have 4 rows. Easier. You have 4 rows. The right thing. These 4 rows mean someone can be here, someone's going to be in the X position, someone's going to be Y, Z actually would be we'll just do A, B, C, D position, and the it would be the E, F, H position. There is what I would like to call the invisible line here. This is not a space that exists. What's the space? Well, if you do a melee attack, you could usually hit someone right in front of you. People with longer ranged attacks can maybe hit some people in different parts of the row. This is just this kind of the idea of rows, where back here in the A and B and G and H position, these are where your rangers are. These are going to be people shooting off, bows. These are going to be people things back. People in the, C, D, E, F tier, however, are going to be your melee guys. These are going to be the guys up front. Why do I think this is going to be an interesting idea? Because I think it could be kind of its own fascinating look at things. Because I'm that kind of guy. I like trying new things. I like looking at things from a different angle. This is one idea. The other idea is use strictly line-based combat. Now, line-based combat, we've done line combat before. If we go Miro here, Miro El Papanota. Yes, hello. No, go away. Go away. We've done line combat before, and line combat is there are three I'd probably there are 3 lines here. You can be in the front row. If you're in the front row, that pretty much means you're melee range. If you're in the back row, you're kind of mid between them, and there's usually, I like to call it the fallback line, which is you're trying to run away. You're trying to actively get away from the situation here. This is its own, I would say this is more JRPG influence, kind of the lines as to more Final Fantasy that works. Is this the perfect method though? I don't know. I am leaning toward more abstraction simply because the maps are going to be a little bit wonkier in that regard, and I want people to have more combat encounters per session. That's going to be a goal. I want people to not be like, oh god, there's 2 combat encounters, I need to prepare a bunch of maps, I need to get everything ready. I don't want that to be a thing. A game like this demands a dungeon map that doubles for combat. That's one idea. Again, but this is one of the things as well, is one of the problems is I want dungeons to feel kind of surreal and very different. That's one of the issues. That they're not supposed to be strictly, how do I want to do this, set dungeons. They're a little bit more randomized, a little bit more chaotic, especially how I'm going to be planning on doing the dungeon system, which is going to be incredibly randomized based more off of nodes. Kind of the node system that I've been working with there. It's generally speaking, though, I've been looking at this, or we can go, this is the thing, we can go straight for a full-on dungeon map. It's a URPG. That's supposed to be a J. There we go. It's a JRPG now. It's called a stylized J. Thank you very much, Noonie. You wouldn't understand my artistic ability. But yeah, again, I've been thinking more abstracted combat system just because I think that would work a little bit better, but I don't quite know how I want to do it yet. If you have any suggestions, now's the time to kind of convince me in any which way. Simply because this can go in a lot of different directions. Already, one thing I want to happen, this is the big thing, one thing I want to happen is you're going to be in a situation where there's going to be 2 or 3 combats per session, maybe more, where it's an attrition game, a grind. You fighting is something dangerous. So the more you fight, the less prepared you're getting. How do we spend resources? About what puzzles can we solve with what we have, and how can we avoid these combats? Do end up in a combat. I don't want combat to take a long time. I don't want people to like him and haw over 1,000 different options. I don't think that's the direction I want this to go. But again, I would say there's the 3 options, which is more of this JRPG method, kind of the line-based combat. We have kind of the more of the, I don't really know how you would be calling it, but like abstracted positional combat. Sounds really pretentious, but that's the best way I can think to call it, which is more of the, the Darkest Dungeon inspired version. I wonder, is there, let me see, Darkest Dungeon TTRPG. There's the board game. There is a Torchbearer. Let's let's do this because don't actually believe Torchbearer uses. I know they use used to improve skill system, burning wheel and spin. Yeah, I don't even think this has like a strict map system. Yeah, like a lot of these games don't have even like maps. Like even if you go on something like Sword World, for example, like Goblin Slayer versus Sword World, they don't actually even have tactical maps. What they do is, you would be like, oh, well, I am, it's a goblin. There's the goblin here, and you are dwarf. And it's like, okay, dwarf is here, goblin is here. This is officially 5 meters. Okay, this is just the entirety of the battle map that we've just doodled on a fucking piece of paper, effectively. You don't really think about it too much. That's not the point. No, just wanted to ask. I've subscribed to your Patreon. I'm Axel. Thank you very much, Delirium. Any meetings or even a suggestion box for patrons only? Feel free to DM me on Patreon if you ever have anything you would like to talk about. You just missed the voting to make sure that your votes get big. You have a Patreon? Yes. I do have a Patreon. If you go to the links channel, you definitely can do that. I would recommend Delirium, send me a. If I don't do it later, make sure you PM me to make sure you got your patron role. It should. It should update you automatically, but should update you automatically is sometimes very different than will update you automatically. Like it do be that way sometimes. But yeah, send me any PM you want on Patreon. I will read them. You know how it goes. But yeah, we have a few different ideas and approaches we can do here. Let's write out like the basics already. Just some simple ideas. So, no dungeon expedition is entirely a risk-free endeavor. Often, besides the traps, tricks, and deadlier encounters. And let's see. Besides the traps, tricks, and deadlier encounters, with the dungeon itself, often the dreaming god will create entities to defend itself. These monsters take the form of anything the dreaming god can be associated. Let's see. Can take the form of anything the dreaming god can be associated. Often being related to their domain, or any other influences which has infected their mind. Okay, you've gotten the role. Cool. Good. Gucci. Just wanted to know if there's anything. I don't usually do like Patreon events. What usually occurs is that you can vote in the polls, but the polls ended already. If you do have any suggestions, feel free to, again, just tell me, and I'll see what I can do. Yeah, you'll be seeing that. Again, most likely if things pan out, the next poll will be like in a month or two. Like, it happens. Just, again, PM me if you ever need anything. You know how it goes. I'm always available, he says to himself, fully knowing he doesn't check Patreon as often as he should. There are people pinging me. Oh, someone boosted the server. Why? But let's see. Monsters can take the form of anything dreaming god can be associated with. Being related to remain any other influences which affected their encounter. These beasts are never human. Never human though. Never human though. They may mimic and even be slightly reasoned with, but at the end they are figments. They are figments of a what would be a good comatose synonym? Feeling or understanding thing. What would be a good? We had comatose. We have lobotomized. Figments of a They are figments of a dreamer's subconscious. But let's see. At the end, they are figments of a dreamer's subconscious. Yeah, this is kind of one of those like little bit of paranoia things where it's like, is this a human being or is it a beast that's trying to kill us? Oh, very cool, Delete. Very cool. So let's. Often these encounters force the hand of the keepers. It's a fight. If I can fucking spell properly, it's a fight for survival. It's a fight for survival. Fight for survival, and to get closer to the dreaming. Get closer to the dreaming god echo. And there we go. Gucci. All right. How do I want to do this? OSR. We want to do. Let's think a little bit. OSR combat maps. Battle map, yay or nay? Nay. Mappers responsible for drawing what you describe. Graph papers preferred. The format battle map, multi-combat begin. No. Dungeon map, battle map, totally different things. Like they are, and get lost if they mess up. I like painting minis. I decided a few years ago to run battle map because people that play with say are we so directionally challenged. Show them exactly where everything is. The session delves into a constant of wait, what? And arguing about distances. Battlement, slow down combat, prep time if you draw ahead of time, limit and inhibit creatives. Combat is focused on OSR play. Well, maybe 0 to 40% of the session time spent on it. Battle mats do not have a good ROI for me, but you do you. Thanks. Vision combat in their mind's eye, so I use them for combat only. Nay, I prefer theater of the mind. Nay, yay, nay, yay, nay, yay. Fuck, shit, god damn it, cock. Welcome to the infinite grind when you're trying to find like an answer for anything. It's like yes, no, but maybe, perhaps no. It is quite literally a no, yes, but perhaps, maybe, no. It's lovely. I love it. It's great. It's just keto. I love it to death. Let's think. Let's take a second and dream a dream and all that bullshit. So, what do we want combat to be like? What do I want? What do I envision combat as already? What I envision combat already is it's a rollover system. It's going to be. I don't want enemies to be like super complicated. I want them to be like So a GM can kind of come up with anything they want. Probably either going to use a monster creation system or just like, here's a really basic way of you to make your monster. It's super simple and just this is how you should do it. That's one thing I'm wanting to do. It's going to be an important facet. The second thing is I want things to be in attrition. This is an attrition game. This is not going to be every single fight is this life or death climactic super battle. It is, okay, we've dealt with the enemy pretty easily. I'm just a little bit miffed up. I'm a little bit damaged. I'm hurt a little. But I'll survive. I'm gonna get out of this just fine. It's just we've lost something. We've also lost a lot of the stuff things. I do plan on using an initiative. That's the thing. I do plan on using an initiative system because I want people to be rewarded for like packing light, if that makes sense. Like, oh, I don't have a super heavy backpack. I can go a little bit faster. Or, hey, I am a fast character. I get to go faster. I am this. I have this. If we, so let's just, okay, so we have enemies are fast to create. I'm going to probably do static numbers for everything. Enemies aren't going to be rolling for anything. You, the player, is going to be attacking. You, the player, are going to be defending. We want multiple combats per round, so that kind of feeds into each other. Per session, you can say. We want this to be attrition-based, which is, again, you're burning resources. Combat should be a thing of, like, how do I mitigate the use of a resource? Or, how much do I burn a resource, or do I not? I'm using something to maybe make combat easier, maybe make combat harder a little bit, just because we don't want to waste something. Maybe get into a combat because we didn't want to waste something. But how do we visualize it? How do we visualize it perfectly? The way that's going to work. Because the entire concept of the maps, that dungeons are going to be a little bit amorphous. That's the problem. You can run a dungeon if you want to, like a strict dungeon. But you don't have to strictly. Like I actually have my dungeon creation system, which is very anomalous. That's the thing. It's a very anomalous system. That's the point of it. It's supposed to be because that's the pitch of that game, is the Fear and Hunger game, actually. Because one of the things in the Fear and Hunger game is bring the void. Where's the combat of the dungeon, the domains? Yeah, the idea is this is actually how a dungeon is slowly created, or at least an area. This is my example, the Santo Eredino Market District. All of those are just you roll a shit ton of dice together and you throw it down, and you find things here. Something may be wrong, something may be odd, and it's things like, hey, the fish market these are all connected to one another, but the shrine to Mother Infanime is connected to this fish market. That means but if you go down the smuggling canal, you will be able to get the St. Lucia's fountain. But if you don't want to do that, you have to go to the fish markets, to Mary's Pies, all the way down to the various market stalls, then go up to the fountain. Like, okay, where are we going? How are we getting there? That's kind of one of the basic ideas. But it's very amorphous. It's very uncomfortable in its own way. What do you do what do you lose? What do we gain? Perhaps, what do we compromise on? Can we really afford to spend time looking for Esteban's smuggling route? Now, we maybe don't know that's there. We know we've heard rumors that there's a smuggling canal, but where do we look for it? Do we stay at the Tusk Inn for long enough? We know for a fact it's connected to something we don't like, and we don't want to go there. But maybe that's the good idea. Oh, you spend a night at the Tusk Inn. Oh, turns like someone's got a knife in there. Oops. But yeah, that's kind of the pitch here. This is the idea. everything is kind of this amorphous blob of like you don't quite know. But I also want people to be like, this is just a dungeon I have. I want people to be able to just bring up a dungeon. You know, it's like OSR. What would be some classic dungeon map? I want someone to be able to bring this image up and be like, hey, this is the dungeon we're going to be using for this particular thing. And when you enter a room or something, there's enemies, combat begins, and it's like, okay, what do we do now? We're in a combat scenario. Do we want people to be able to move around actively? Do we want people to get immediately mulched the second they encounter something they shouldn't? Like, that's what I mean. My things get a little bit wonky. I need to make a decision here. That's why I'm thinking something a little bit more abstract, combat map. Because if we go abstract, that means you can fit a lot more stuff into something very small. What kind of abstract? What kind? Or do we come up with something entirely new? We want to get the idea that this is a dungeon, going down to this dungeon, and it's things that aren't, maybe things aren't ideal. See what I could do. Here's this is the gamer option. What we could do is follow its Way of Steel a little bit here. Probably not a soul has heard of Way of Steel, and that's for good reason. But effectively, just give everybody. It's effectively just a chessboard. This is the combat map, and like, okay, players are moving their pieces around this chessboard. It wouldn't. There's no features or anything on it. It's a very contained board, though. That's the idea. It would be like a 9x9 board. That's all you have to work with. You don't have the massive room. You don't have anything like that. All it is just there's this board. Here's this chessboard. Have fuck you. Have fun. Or it could be like, hey, this is you have a 5x5 area to play around with. Go nuts. Oh, we want to do that now. Like there should be an option. Let's do some research. I like doing research. Research is fun. Let's do OSR combat maps. Abstract combat map for your review. Okay. Okay. Tenkar's Tavern. Tenkar mentioned me. That was my one. Congratulations. Go team. Maybe I'm looking again. Because again, half of me is like, you gotta have the grids and shit. The other half of me is like, no, you don't need grids. Why do I need grids? Why? Do I need grids? Or am I just saying that I need grids? And you gotta rely on fucking. You usually have to rely on fucking Reddit for these things. Don't blame me. Let's see. Shinobi. It's time for Shinobigami. No, it's not time for Shinobigami. That's the last thing. I mean, I guess we can do 13th Age map. Like it's 13th Age combat map. I know it uses something a little bit weird. Attack bonus. Delay ready action. Movement and melee. Free. By default, characters are battle are free. They can be freely moved, range attacks, and engage in battle. Yeah, because they just use effectively two options. Like, you are free or engaged or disengaging. That's the idea. Like, you are here or not here. Could do something like that. You could make it just very overly abstract, even. We go down the overly abstract method. What do we... Or do I want to give people more structure? Structure versus... Currently, the three questions are pretty simple. Do we want structure or freedom? Structure or freedom? Movement. It would be a movement or position. Offense. How do we want to do this? Movement or position, or we're not offense versus defense, but more along the idea of scale or universal. I think that's kind of these are the three major questions that we need to kind of answer. If we go into the idea, we want, again, multiple combats per turn. The enemies are very simple. Don't think we want structure. We want structure. What am I willing to? Let's take a think. What am I thinking of? What am I thinking that's going to be interesting? What's going to be fun? What's going to be an idea? What's a concept? What's an idea? What's anything really? Area of the Promised Land. Which I swear to God, I do not want to pin the comment. Oh. So it's mostly just two positions. Just two positions. You are either attacking or you aren't attacking. Okay, maybe that's... Right, let's see. Where's the run option in your game? Like... What other dungeon game can I think of? Dungeon. What am I thinking of? 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 What I'm just talking about a combat system, not a map. Combat map, map list combat TTRPG. Unless we want something more structured, unless we want something less structured. Am I looking at the wrong place? Is that it? Am I looking at just the wrong place? That's an entirely different option. If we're looking at the wrong place, what would we be looking at? Is what I mean by Darkest Dungeons system here. Is the way that they're lined up, the way they're in a line, allowing people to go back and forth and bonk each other over their heads frequently. Because you do the idea of just bonking each other over your head, you know, consistently, just bonk, 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 back and forth, 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 back and forth. Effectively, what that would mean is that certain characters are going to have certain abilities unless we decide to do it like a... Can I afford to have... Maybe have my cake and eat it too? I feeling? What? This is one of those beautiful moments where you can like clearly see what you want to do, but you just have no fucking clue like how to do it. Such a minor thing. It's such a basic thing, but if you don't have this basic thing, it's not working. Or you just do full fucking abstract. Abstract. Because then everything becomes so amorphous. Because everything becomes so amorphous, suddenly those distances stop mattering, and anyone can do anything at any time because everyone's just going to be in the same place. It's when you have the goo, the idea of like if you just have the goo, where everyone can technically attack anyone at any time, nothing matters then. You want to have at least something where you can say, I'm going to put myself in a position where I can defend myself, or if I can't defend myself, I can at least defend somebody else. Maybe we do a... I guess the true question is, are objects equal to characters in this game? Can I take cover or break a comp? Yeah, that should be an option. That's the idea. That should be a thing saying, hey, I'm going to be hit by an attack. I want to get behind something. I want to get behind an object. I want to do a thing. Because that makes sense. You know, if there's an enemy with a crossbow or something, there should be the option to dive behind cover and be like, okay, I'm going to be at least relatively... Unless we do... really tie it close, really make it tight. We really make it tight. That's not, and that's just extra steps. Why? What? This is this entire fucking project in a nutshell. Nothing makes sense because it's like, oh, well then it compromises another part of the game because if you have to do another part of the game. Then you got to think of a completely different part of the game. Nothing is wanting to click together as easily. Because you got all the back end stuff, you just don't have the thing that clicks. Where's the click? What is the thing that ties it all together? I've been thinking about this all day. I thought I had it, but it just doesn't work the way I want it to. It doesn't work. At this wrong. I'm looking at this from a different angle. Maybe I gotta look at it from a different angle. I gotta see it from perspective. What am I trying to do? Trying to make a dungeon crawl. Make a dungeon crawl. Make a game about going into a dungeon and crawling and beating the shit out of anything you don't like. I wanted a game about going in there, going bang, 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 and beating a fucking skeleton to death roll. What's more side-scrolling 2D based combat RPG? Roll for side-scrolling 2D turn-based combat RPG. Is that the answer? What am I missing? No, there's the thing here. There's the line. There's the thing. There's the. What am I missing? Am I missing? That's yeah. Again, why not just embrace something Darkest Dungeon? Like, yeah, that's what I was actually thinking. Just having like the steps for the Darkest Dungeon idea, the legitimate steps of just being like, your one person, you know, the just 4 separate areas linked together, versus 4 separate locations linked together with bigger enemies taking up 2 or 3 or even 4. Like, okay, you're like, okay, you know, here's your team. What I was thinking about doing is, instead of just the 4, is do something more akin to kind of what we would consider to be like you talk about it every now and again, but kind of the idea of marching order. That's kind of its own unique way of approaching the situation, where it's like, oh, okay, we're in this kind of like 6x6 thing, and the enemy is going to be also, you know, a 2x3 thing. They're also going to be in this 2x3 thing, where it's like, oh, there's a piece of cover here, and if you are standing in this location, they cannot technically hit you. Like anyone standing in this anyone standing in this location can't hit you, but if there's a piece of cover here, you can't hit them, obviously. That's kind of the idea. You're trying to drag people up. You're advancing forward constantly, or they're trying to push you back. God, are we fucking? We're looking at the really. Are we seriously going to be consulting Mega Man Battle Network for this? Are we going to be consulting Mega Man Battle Network? That would be too. This is too fast, arguably. Too fast. What would be the answer? Change. Looking at an abstracted combat map. What are we looking at here? What is? Fuck off. Dungeon World, the only game you need. Dungeon World, the only game you need. God, 2015 was a terrible fucking time for everyone involved. Oh. Wait, isn't this the fucking card battler game? Or do I say fuck? Go with my. Or I say fucking and go with my gut. You could do the Nephilim Saga thing where each has a 9x9 space grid. You put units effectively to slap two next to it for combat. Nephilim Saga. Their set of objects to cover their grid. It's a very beloved series. That's a cult classic. I'm just saying. Well, let's look. Nephilim Saga. You mean Symphony of War? Yeah. I don't want to fucking YouTube. Where's the... Give me the YouTube. Final battle. I just want here. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. I'm looking at this from a different angle. How to look at it. Fucking not let us cling together. I don't need let us cling together. That's not the point. I need any percent, what the fuck ever. Fight it out. Where's the fight it out button? Fortune. I don't want to keep this card. Give me a comment. There we go. Okay. Give everybody, it would be a 3x3. Getting closer to the Dreaming God's Echo. Okay. Those halls and bloody fields. When combat. Actually, no. We need to. Do we know this is gonna be the battlefield? We need to do. We'll start with battle cries and drawn steel initiative. At the when combat begins. See, when combat begins, the character when combat begins, each of the keepers will roll 1d10, 2d10. 1d10 plus agi bonus plus their agility bonus Let's see. The keepers will roll 1d10 plus agility bonus to minus initiative modifiers. Keep it all put together. If I'm seeing people are making comments, give me a second. Sorry. When combat begins, each of the keepers will roll 1d10 plus agility bonus minus initiative modifiers to determine against for their initiative roll. If their initiative is higher than an enemy's, then in enemy's initiative, they will go before the enemies. If it is lower, they will go after them. When the boy, damn. Yeah, I know how to do this. Also, I completely forgot. Thank you, Rico Nilo, for following. I've been in the. I just entered the zone currently. Okay, so each actually, how do we want to do the initiative and we'll do initiative and structure. Let's see. The player from there the Notepad zone sounds like Woody Woodpecker. From there the battle will commence. From there the battle will commence. Each individual character's action is referred to as the individual character's action referred to as their turn. The full every character's action is every character's action is called round. Let's see, every character's action is called the round. When all characters have acted, the round comes to an end. The round will come to an end. Any effects will take place immediately. Then all keepers will re-roll initiative. Will re-roll their initiative. It's pretty easy. It's just a D10 roll, so it's like, okay, we do something, gotta re-roll. Which you could roll higher, you could roll lower, you could get a bonus, you could just fucking fail miserably, and everyone makes fun of you. Keepers will re-roll their initiative. What we should do is okay. Close halls and bloody fields. Combat takes place on a. Actually, God, how do we? Let's see. Battles can be claustrophobic. Affairs, forcing the keepers into close quarters fights for survival. This is represented by both sides being aligned on a 3x3 grid. Opposing. Let's see. Both sides being. How do we want to do this? Being line on two 3x3 grids. Two opposing one another. The let's see, two 3x3 grids opposing one another. Whoever is in. God, how do we want to? This is really awkward. This is a really awkward thing to say. I know exactly how I want to. Depending on the marching order. Depending on the marching order of the of the keepers, this 3x they will inhabit the 3x3 grid. They'll inhabit their 3x3 grid as accurately as possible. They will inhabit their 3x3 grid as accurately as possible. This does allow, however, certain combat situations will restrict certain options, will restrict the options available for one or both sides. Each for one or both sides. There we go. Okay. These will restrict options available for one or both sides, or grant bonuses for keepers or for characters who inhabit certain locations. During combat, actually each of the I don't know I have to give it a special name. I don't really know what I would call it though. We'll call it we'll just say it's the party grid. The party grid, that doesn't sound the something important grid. Grid, the keeper, actually no, why don't we just call it the keeper's grid? The keeper's grid. Each grid has a front, middle, and back row that characters can be in. Front, middle, and back row. Front row characters can attack freely in melee. Let's see. Front row characters can attack freely in melee. Middle row can attack with long. I guess we'd have to do. The middle row can attack with melee or ranged attacks. While those in the back row are restricted to melee, are restricted to ranged combat. A certain enemy. This does mean that front row characters cannot use melee. Against the enemy's back row. And the enemy's back row, middle row. If the front row completely collapses, all members, actually the grid, all enemies, that would be all enemies must move forward one. So all rows will advance by one step toward the enemy. Could be a little bit awkward, but it should work. Pretty much the idea here would be, so we got our little grid here, a little 3x3 grid. If our front row guy bites the dust, he's fucking dead. That means our guys here and here are all going to have to advance up by 1 step. They're pretty much being effectively, your back row is gone now. You've taken out the back row. Now someone could try to, this guy over here, this guy, he could attempt to next turn try to move back and you just lose the middle row. You have no one in the middle row. But it's like, okay, the second these 2 guys are dead, the battle map just is going to push them forward more and more up. That's kind of the big idea. Here's where the gimmick's going to come in. Here's where the gimmick's going to come in. If a dealing the grid, let's see, the grid is not just for show either, or not just for show either. Depending on the location, characters can be a priority target for others. If a character is directly in front, let's see. Actually, how do I want to do this? Because what I want to occur here, kind of awkward because I don't really have a. Actually, we're gonna do something a little bit janky here. We want to do some resize row. We're going to make you 25 pixels. We're going to do that resize column 25. Actually. That's not correct. Fuck you. Resize 25. Let me back up here. We're going to select you. We're going to go all the way over here. Hit that. Resize columns A to Z 25. All the way back over here. Okay. So effectively, what this is saying is we've got our grid here. They've got their grid here. What I want to occur. This is the dream. This is Nopad's autistic dream. Is if I'm standing here, and I got 2 allies. I got my 3 allies back here. If there's an enemy right here and right here, both of these guys can attack me in the front row. That's fine. Okay, perfectly understandable. But let's do a little bit of shaking and baking here a little bit. Let's say this is the kind of the setup everybody has. This enemy right here, the one in the middle, must attack me. This enemy right here must attack him. So it's kind of like if you are directly in front of one another, you have to fight one another. But if you kind of end up in a situation of like, oh, the enemy is there's a guy up here now. There's a guy up top. Technically, our player in the middle here can attack X or either of these 2. But he can only really attack our one guy over here because that's the only one that's kind of adjacent to him in a way. But if he were to fall, any of the front row can attack him because there's nothing blocking there. But trying to make sure that sounds, it makes complete sense to me, and I don't know. Showing you that depending on location, characters can be priority targets for others. If a keeper is directly in front. Actually, if more than one melee combatant. Let's see, how do I want to word this? But it's not just for show either. Depending on the location, characters can be priority targets can be restricted. Can be restricted to attacking certain enemies. if a keeper is directly opposite an enemy. Let's see, if keeper is directly opposite an enemy, they must prioritize attacking. They can only target. Let's see, they can only target that individual in melee. However, multiple. If no character is in front of a combatant, they can attack the closest ally. They can attack the closest ally. How do I want to word? I don't know how I want to word this. This doesn't sound. Effectively, what I want to occur here is, let's say we have the characters set up like this. This is this current situation. We have the characters like this. The enemies, on the other hand, are over here. We've got two enemies over here. We've got two enemies over here. These two are forced to target him. Like, okay, like he's the only one in the front row. These two can freely target. Like this guy can freely target either of them. He can freely target. No, that doesn't work. Maybe I just cut this part. I can see it in my fucking head where it sounds good. I can see it playing out. I can see it. It's like fucking 3x3 chessboards. The fucking royal game of because I hate myself. I can see it play out. I can see it in my head. I can see it right in front of me. That's the issue. I see it right in front of me where it's like, okay, I know for a fact that this character is going to be in front of me, so I want to position myself in a way that he can't attack my backline at all. Making instead of a game. We don't make good games here, Noonie. You should know that by now. You listen to the schizophrenic rambling of a madman. That's the entertainment value, right? Come on. I don't make games. I make self-flagellation on words. And don't even got any alcohol to drown my fucking worries with. It's great. I love it. I love dev work. Don't you know? Or this godforsaken hobby. Why couldn't I pick up guitar? I always question myself, like, why didn't I pick up like a cool thing? Why couldn't I have been the guy who like just brings his guitar to every? I would at least got invited to parties. That's the thing. I wouldn't have been, you know, like, oh, what's Notepad doing? Oh, he's writing tabletop games like an. Wow, cool. That industry is going to collapse within itself within the next 10 years. Wow, cool. For those wondering what I'm talking about with the royal game of this is the royal game of One of the ideas behind the royal game of is blocking and kind of moving through this little tiny game based all the way back on the city of which arguably this would be kind of an idea. This is, funnily enough, move one of these sections over here and you have an idea of what I would want this to look like. But, okay. For that, depending on location, generally restricting attacking certain. No. Let's put this here. Battle cries and drawn steel. We go to heading 2. Immense, claustrophobic, bloody holes. There's going to be a lot. I can tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of images. I'm going to have to draw out the images of what I'm seeing. Why don't I open up? That would be a good idea. Honestly, this would be a good idea if I just open up paint.net at this point. Why don't I do... Let's be conservative. Say 10 by 10. We'll make a 10 by 10 image. We do not effects. We do adjustments, tools. Where's my grid? Where's my grid? Where's my grid? What shapes? Grid and check mark maker. Let's do 100. Three. 329. 325. 324. Oh, no, no, God, oh, Jesus, oh, Jesus, oh, Lord, oh, Lord. He's coming. Okay, so if we do that, so we've got our 3x3 little board here. I could open up something to make it look nice, but I am me, so it's, we're gonna do paint.net, we're gonna put it right here. So here's our 3x3 board. So what we do is we do that, we open up a second one with, we go to 20. No, I want image, canvas size, I want to change you to width, we'll do 22, paste, and then we put you just paste in. Go. So, here's the map. This is the idea of the map. Like, wowie zowie, this looks so like a map. Yes, that's the point, because it's a map. If I'm here, let's say one of our characters, let's say our characters are over here. We'll make it nice and thick. We got one character here, one character here, one character here, and one character here. Cool. We've got a little setup here. Just a nice little 3x3 grid. I might expand the grid, give people more options. But we have the enemy. We got an enemy here. We've got an enemy here. We've got like an enemy right dead center. Like right here. This is their formation. These guys have to target him. We know that for a fact. They are now compelled to pretty much attack the front line. He can attack the front line, or if he has a ranged weapon, attack anybody else. That's kind of the idea. Now, what I mean by positioning is somewhat important. What we can do is we can put him, if we put him down here, we know for a fact this man is now compelled to attack him. He has to attack him. He can attack him, or he can go forward. That's kind of my idea. Like, hey, you can kind of, if you're not blocking your friends, they can get attacked. Or is that a good idea? We do the idea that you can always attack forward. We do the idea that you can always attack forward, so you can always hit the, pretty much the guy in the middle, any of your frontline fighters, their job is to pretty much say, I'm going to block as much as possible, but these guys are getting mulched. Any of your frontline guys are always going to be kind of like in the highest danger zone, effectively. Or maybe I'm just completely overthinking this insanity, and I just need to do like a completely different approach to this. This is insanity, but maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need a little madness. Maybe we need to be a little bit. Unless we just drop that and just be like, yeah, it's just like wherever you are, you have to like. No, but then this line, that's just advanced line combat. That's just all that is. Advanced line combat. Maybe I'm a no. Is that necessarily a thing though? Alternatively, we go to like one direction. Do the one. No. No, 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 no. If you're directly in front, you have to be If you're directly in front, you have to be targeted, but that also applies to you. So if there's an enemy like this, you can attack that. You have to attack them. You cannot, however, attack this person. You're trying to deal with the person directly in front of you. That's the issue. So if you kind of like trying to move around, but then like maybe melee is restricted to the first cell, range is counts backwards, and magic has no restrictions. See, I'm not really worried about distances. It's like effectively what I need to do now is justify movement, is justify positioning. That's the issue right now, is I need to justify positioning. Or is this square for like, is this like little fucking cross formation just the only formation you should ever do? Because there's no like, why fucking bother doing anything else? Or it's just like, oh, this is just the number of people we can have per cell being 3 or whatever. Like, again, the idea behind positioning would be like, oh hey, you know, this area right here, this is a fucking wall. You can't actually move into it. You know, you cannot move into the wall. This is a no-no zone. Enter the no-no zone. You can't. You just cannot move in here. And now, like, this guy right here, he has to move. He has to move up here to do anything. This guy can still move around. But it's like, hey, okay, we've got that to worry about a little bit. Maybe it's more along the lines of, like, if you enter this location, like if someone is in this location, they get a plus 20, they get a plus 10 to all their attacks with any range attack because it's an elevated position. They have an elevated position that you need to, like, maybe get them off of. Maybe you want to move up there. Maybe it's like, okay, I want to move up here so I'm on the elevated position. So I have the advantage. I have a way to do that. This is a lot more complicated than I expected for a system that's meant to simplify distance further than zones do. Yeah, because I fucking hate myself and I overthink things and I am in a perpetual state of fucking agony. I've done fuck all. Oh my god, I've wasted this entire stream. Last one in the row, so now you have to swap positions to survive blocking. For what I mean, if range attacks have to attack the last one in the row, now have to swap positions to survive blocking for a friend. First cell range counts backward. So it's kind of like along the idea, like, what you're proposing is, like, if this person right here is doing a ranged attack, he can do it. He can't do a ranged attack if I'm standing here. That's kind of the issue. If I'm standing here, he can't do the ranged attack against him, but he can freely attack elsewhere. Do I just say fuck it and just do I just delete this entire thing? This doesn't feel right. Something is wrong, and I don't know what it is. Why is it wrong? Why does it look wrong? Why does it feel wrong? Something isn't correct. Do I just say fuck it and make it simple? I'm just making line combat. I'm just making line combat. Like, what's the point? I just say fuck it and use an action map. There's an answer. Tactics over putting certain units. Magic users. You have any magic users? Wishies. But if they take out the front row, they can start attacking. Melee guys are forced to pretty much do whatever is the closest row. Range guys can attack any. Magic guys affect usually the map. The problem with magic is that it's expensive and damaging. Alright, why doesn't it? Get things wrong. Do I say fuck it? Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I am just a. You'd have to have just 4 fucking characters. That's the issue. That's the one fucking issue with the Darkest Dungeon method, because you can't have any more than 4. If you have more than 4 characters, you can't have anything more. Everything is now restricted to just 4. What happens if you have a 5th player? If you have a 5th player, oopsie-doopsie, sorry, you're just fucking useless. Unless you just start stacking a certain rows. But if you start stacking certain rows, then what's the point? Because people start getting, it doesn't fucking work. God damn it, son of a bitch. Fuck. There has to be an answer. Isn't complicated. Fucking answer. This is not a complicated idea. Why is it so goddamn complicated? Why isn't it working? Why? Could be an answer. It's not like I could just go with my gut and just say, nope, sorry, fuck it, it's just line combat again, because I just keep using line combat because it's super fucking simple, and it's the easiest thing to do because it's just simple, and I never have to think about it too hard because I am creatively fucking bankrupt and I can't make anything new because I'm in a fucking recursive loop and I want to kill myself. No. There has to be something here. I know there's something here. No, there's an answer. What answer is that? I don't know that a lot of things. Truth be told, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Projects, I'm stuck in a lot. Sense. Basic range system. Nothing exciting. All that matters is just location. The grid doesn't matter then. That's the stops mattering. Unless we do make it matter. But how do we make it? How do we make the grid matter? How do we make the... That's the question. The grid just a gimmick just to put... is the grid legitimately just a gimmick? It doesn't do anything, it's just a gimmick. There's nothing valuable. Or, am I looking at this from a different angle? How to look at it from a different angle. How to think about it. How to think about it. About it like this. You want 3x3, that's inspired by your marching. Location is going to be in a place. Someone wants to attack you. They're going, as long as they are there. As long as they are available to attack you, they're going to hit you. Pretty easy to slap your shit. Next to you, combat begins. You start freely moving around the board. And start freely moving around the board. Do that. Fuck the abstraction. We break down everything to just a very simple group system. Effectively, what would happen? You'd align the grids. The grids are together. It's like, okay, the grids are together. You then would select you would pretty much just slap your, best way to put it is that you would just slap your grids together. Being like, okay, here's the new this is the combat map. You can move X amount of spaces. Move like 1 or 2 spaces. That's it. No, that doesn't work. That defeats the fucking purpose. Defeats the purpose. No, bad. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? You aren't thinking. Being a stupid fucking idiot. Doesn't know what he's doing and wrote a fucking game. He thought it would be funny, right? That would be easy, but it's not easy because no one makes any fucking ideas and it's the same shit all over again every time. Don't know what the fuck I'm doing because I don't like these fucking kinds of games. Don't go over OSR. They're just not there. There's something that I am drawn to them, but I don't actually like look at any OSR. I'll read the exact fucking same. Ooh, look at me, I'm so edgy. Oh no, it's fucking AD&D again. Oh my goodness. Read one fucking hack, you read them all. It's the same shit. Oh, I'm getting agitated now. That's really agitated. So I'm getting mad at myself more. Can't do mad at myself. Okay. Redo it. Rethink from the ground up. We want to keep the grid. Grid's essential. We're keeping the 3x3 grid to say, where are you? We want inspired by Tactics Ogre. And March of the Nephilim. It's your little party going in here. I have engaged in battle. B-A-T-T-L-E. That battle I've engaged in. Ready to go. Ready to fight. We're ready to fight and we're ready to engage in that battle. How do we want to do things in that battle? Simple. We want it to hard. Or do we just say fuck it? Do we just say fuck it and just want to keep everything player facing? Keep everything player facing? Do we fuck, man, I'm looking up. Yeah, effectively, this would be like one of the ideas behind it. This is one idea where you just freely move. It's like it's just a really controlled grid, if that makes sense. Like that would just be it. Like that would just be a very controlled, very simplistic in a way to just keep everything together. But I don't know how to do that without making it just a shitty grid system. Because this is a video game. You got to remember that this is a video game, and it's you making all those choices. But like, that's like, do I just? Wrong. I think wrong. I'm looking at things incorrectly. This is the... This is the One Rings combat. Like this. Make everything just player facing. If we do everything, that's just... This is more about... It's been a while, but... What are we looking for? What we want is characters doing something. We want people to be able to actually feel like they're acting, playing the game. We want them to be fast. We want to make combat entertaining. Because of that, how do we all the little fucking ingredients of the cake? How do we get all the little details? Why do we have grid combat? Why do we have a grid combat system? Combat systems allow you positioning, movement, things fracted out. I am 5 foot away from the goblin to violate the goblin. What I want to violate the goblin. Why do we have a fracted system? Fracted system allow us to say, I want to violate the goblin in close range of me. You substitute position for just movement. You don't need any of that. That's the point. The point is there. You're in with area, section, allowing you to get closer to something. Purge, action combat, the Chronicles of Combat thing not only represent battlefield, but represent doing. Besides the usual is, yeah, exactly. I don't want people to make battle maps. That's not it. Because some of these want people in dungeons that are surreal and weird, forcing them maybe a bit more unique. How do we do this? How do I have my cake and fucking eat it? How do I take that cake? Want positioning, tactic. Structure. Want structure. Importantly, want it to be universal, simple, down to basic components. Hello, having a crisis of faith here. Welcome to combat maps. Welcome to combats. Stare at document and question why I do. Darkest Dungeon. Make its map. Darkest Dungeon makes its two very simple. One is to have a deprivation. 4. That means no, it's OGL shit. Fuck. I should do the I should do an OGL video, but it's over this. This is my this is the newest game. In the past about 2 hours, this is literally all I've written because I keep going back and forth about how to do this fucking combat system because the combat system doesn't want to work. To be frank, why don't you just make a 3x7 comp grid? Yeah. That is a very, like, the thing is, Nudie, the thing is with the 2D system is I become suddenly restricted to just about 4 characters reliably, unless what I start doing is like break it up into 2s. Like, oh well, here technically what we would say like in Darkest Dungeon you have the 4 spaces. It would be like the first 2 spaces are the melee spaces. Again, another option would be like keeping it like in a 2x2 grid. So like you, again, if I do it like a 2x4, like a 2x3 grid, for example, doing the 2D, 2D side scrolling thing would be quite literally, you could have 2 people up front, 2 people in this, in slot 2, 2 people in slot 3, 2 people in slot 4. Which is, but then you have some situations where it's like, okay, nobody's in slot 3, but since everyone's retreated backwards, what do we do now? Make the 3x7 grid, you say that's the combat. Back on a space. Friction, creativity. I am thinking about this. Yeah, I am thinking about it. Stacking up on a single position. We stack up on a single position. If we do like, no, okay, no, there's an answer to this. I'm overthinking it again. No, Pat, what are you fucking doing? What are you, stupid motherfucker? What the fuck are you on about? What the fuck are you on about? There's an answer to this. You're thinking too hard. You're thinking far too hard about this. Go with your gut. Go with your gut. You know what you wanted to do from the start of this and fucking thing. You know what you want to do. You know how to do this. Okay. Come on. Okay. Blah, blah. Let's see. Battle can be a claustrophobic because they're forcing the keepers into close quarters fight for survival. This is represented. This is represented by the keepers and their their foes being condemned to the I don't know how I want to call this map. Let's their foes being directly opposed to one another. Let's see. This is represented by the keepers and their foes being directly opposed to one another on the battle grid, battle map, battle because it's a push and a pull. We're pushing forward, we're pushing you back. We're going forward, we're going back. Tug of war. It's a let's see. Opposed to one another on the battlefield. This opposed directly opposed to one another on the battlefield. Each side will have four spaces dedicated. We'll have four spaces, sections, sections, positions. Each side will have four positions they can inhabit. Engage. They can be in. They can be engaged. Actually, what would be, we can do close. No. Do melee, close, ranged. What would you consider the farthest back? Back? Just this, the back? I guess we would call melee range, close range, ranged, close, and then back, and the back, and the back line. Each of these positions can hold a number of keepers equal to the current size, quote, equal to the current size of the battlefield reliably. The current size of the battlefield reliably. So if we're doing we're doing an open. We'll do an open field. We'll do technically this be the infinites. We want to do infinite. Think smart, do not think hard. Think smart, do not think hard. Infinite symbol. Infinite symbol. Wide space 3. Narrow hall. Wide space. What would be open halls? We'll do open halls. 2 claustrophobic spaces. Claustrophobic spaces 1. So the idea here, okay, so each of these positions can hold a number of keepers equal to the current size of the battlefield reliable. Claustrophobic spaces 1. When the battle begins, each keeper, actually no, what we can do is we can we'll add a 5th position. Equally 5 positions. It can be in melee, close, ranged, backline. What would be a place like? If we're thinking of a darkest dungeon grid, a 2D, if we're thinking of like a 2D side scroller thingy. Thinking of a 2D side scroll thing, if we think this is the, this is melee, We think this is the melee area. Simple enough to understand. We think this is close. We think this is close. We say this is ranged. We say currently this is the back line. Actually, unless we move we move that to ranged, and we call this the center. We call this the center. Narrow corridors, yes. I think that, yeah, that probably sounds a little bit better. Because what happens here, yeah, I would say, again, like, back not support, backline. Yeah, if we go in the idea, melee is you are right in the fucking face. Anytime someone's going to make an attack, they're gonna bonk you on the fucking head first. You're gonna get hit first. Close range, you're within range. Like, you can use like decent melee attacks and stuff, but it's not really going to be ideal. You are kind of attacking through your allies there in some cases. You're still kind of in the back line, but not really the back. If we just use the center, it'd be like, this is just the center of the combat. Like, this is the center where you want to kind of keep people who are safe. Ranged is, I have a bow and arrow, I'm hitting you backline. I don't know really what you would call the backline. I just have the term backline. Like, do we call it support? If we use the term support, like, this would be our composition. Pretty much the wider the space is, the more people you can stack on a single space with no penalty, no problems. However, the tighter it is, soon it just becomes like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Let's say you have a 6-man party, though. Where do you put the guy? If we put the guy here, everyone in that area is taking a penalty now, because they're just going over each other. We're too close. I'm bumping into you. You're bumping into me. But we have to always keep pretty much you must always have an anchor. Like, as long as you have an anchor here, you might have 5 people in the support line back here, but as long as you have the anchor, you're fine. But the second that anchor drops, everybody would move forward. So that's like, okay, like, we gotta understand, okay. Think smart, we're thinking smart. We go here, close, center, range, and backline. And support. Each of these positions can hold a number of keepers equal to the current size of the battlefield. Infinite symbol, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. If there are more keepers or characters in the same position, there is a cumulative -10 on all actions for each character as they push, shove, and bump into one another. You just don't have enough space. So if you want to get like hellishly compact, what you can do is you can start restricting spaces. Actually, we'll do certain combat encounters may have certain positions be unavailable. Certain positions will be unavailable. But every combatant must be on the field. Fight. So it's kind of like the idea like, hey, we have a situation where we're being in a really tight, small-ass room. You might not have. We're in a really tight, tiny-ass room. You might not have, like, the back line. You might not have the support line or the range line anymore. Those are gone. You have 5 people in a one position area. Where do you put people? Well, I guess we'll put like 2 people in melee, and maybe we'll put like 3 people here. That's not optimal. Like, these people all have a negative 20 to all their actions. These guys got a negative 10. Do you put somewhere else? Someone like who goes where? Suddenly it's a thinking the thinking game. Think smart. Okay. In despair, we find purpose. Okay, so, but every combatant must be in the field to fight. When a character... characters in melee or close range. Melee and close range can use melee attacks. Can use melee attacks. If they have the appropriate weapon, which I should actually go back and add new weapons to this because we're adding this as a feature. While any position except melee may use ranged attacks. Or range attacks, prayers, or magiki. Characters in melee range, use melee range attack. Okay. That suddenly gives people a little bit more incentive when fighting bigger enemies because we can just give them multiple attacks. Okay. In despair, we find purpose. Catch is that catch is that there must be an anchor in front. The catch is that there must be an anchor in front. There must be an anchor in the melee row. The anchor's purpose. The anchor's goal is to maintain the front line. Let's see. The anchor's goal is to maintain the front line. Should the anchor fall? Should the anchor with no other allies in the space? With no one else in the melee space. Should the anchor fall? I.e., no one in melee range. No one in the melee position. We'll see, i.e., no one in the melee position. Should the anchor fall? All characters will advance by one. Will advance until there is someone in the anchor position. In the melee position. Kind of going off of this situation. If we take this for example, if our guy over here dies, what's going to happen is this: if we have one guy over here and one guy over here, this guy is going to go get promoted up to the melee position. This guy is going to follow him effectively, and suddenly these two would be in the melee and close range. Effectively, everyone gets shoved forward until somebody is in that position. This guy right here, the guy in the support line, cannot say, "Oh, I'm just going to stay here and let that guy take." No. So it's kind of a bad thing if like that frontline fighter you have there goes down all of a sudden, because then everybody's positions start getting changed. When anyone's position starts getting wrong, well, everyone's having a bad time. That's where the complication arises. Surrender to oblivion. Welcome to I've already surrendered. Mind you, this isn't even God, that reminds me. I need to work on the fucking game jam is what I need to do. I have the idea. I can do it. I have the idea for the 5th annual game jam. It's ready. It's ready to go. Simply because of a perpetual shit post somebody posted. Game Jam number 5, anniversary jam in the GDG, the orange server, you might know it as. I have something planned out for it. Somebody said, make an RPG where everyone plays as Drive 2011. If you don't act cool, your character dies. A real human being. I have the idea, effectively. The original concept was just do that. Was literally make Drive the fucking TTRPG. However, I realized that's a terrible idea because I would have to make a GM emulator, and I don't know how to make GM emulators yet, which I you how to do that. But I thought about it for a bit, and I'm like, well, maybe I can just do like a Ryan Gosling RPG. You're just a depressed dude doing depressed dude things. But I'm like, that's not quite what I'm going for either. But then it dawned on me. What's another game about a depressed dude doing depressed dude things and being a horrible waste of human existence? The best buddy cop the best buddy cop game around. Good old Disco Elysium. That I thought about it being like, okay, why don't I merge some of these ideas together and effectively write the Disco Elysium TTRPG? What channel? All the games you write? No, that's about I make none of my games about me. I'll have you know, I did listen to literally an hour and a half of the Drive soundtrack in preparation, and lots of like the really like it's time for like doomer wave shit. I'm like, okay, I gotta put myself in the right headspace how to make Drive 2011 TM. But I should say larger enemies may take up multiple spaces. Larger enemies may take up multiple spaces. Let's see. Larger enemies may take up multiple spaces, forcing the a larger enemy may take up multiple spaces, allowing for more diversity of attacks, if at the cost of fighting a creature far larger than an average human. The good news, you're fighting something that can be hit from just about anywhere. The bad news, you're fighting something about twice the size of you, and it's probably a lot meaner than you. And it's like, oh no, that's not. This isn't Pog. We want to do special characters. Infinity sign. There we go. Technically, like an open field, anyone can go anywhere. That's fine. I think that's appropriate. We can probably put you on feet. Must be an anchor in the melee row. What do we want to do now? We've got that. What we need to do is here we go. Here we do actions now. Would it be actions or what would it? Yeah. Okay. We'll do. and bloody steel. Hearts, minds, and gore. Hearts, minds, and gore. Action. When it is when it is the keeper's turn, they will make it. They can perform a major action. They can perform a major action and a minor action. They can perform a major action and a minor action. All minor actions may be performed as a major action. Performed as a major action if needed. Go nice and simple. Just like when it's your turn, you're going to make an action. What are we going to be doing? We're going to be doing the most basic idea possible: attacking. The keeper lets out. The keeper makes an attack. Makes an attack with all actions are player facing. All actions are in the hands of keepers. When they need, all actions are in the hands of the keepers. When they will make a roll. They will make with many. Let's see. All actions are in the hands of the keeper. Even defending themselves fires a roll. Them enemies will never make a rolled action. Never make a rolled action. There we go. They will never roll. Only an hour and a half. No, you need submerge at least a day. I need to download the information. I must become Drive 2011. See, I'm trying to leave my Gosling arc. I'm trying to join my Bateman arc. Like that's the dream right here. I'm trying to cut out the Gosling arc, join the Bateman arc. So I'm debating on how to Bateman max more, and I know I haven't been very Drive 2011 this stream because I've been having my crisis of faith of how to fucking do a map, but maybe that's okay. Okay, how do we want to? So we'll do guess we'll start with. Do we start with major? We'll start with major action. Major actions are usually the best to start with. Major actions. First things first. Attacking. When a keeper is making an attack. They will roll either. Let's see. We'll roll either. See what I can do. How do I want to? Do we want to get autistic with this, or yeah? Excellent. Okay. When a keeper is making an attack, they will roll their. How do I want to roll? So what am I trying to say here? What am I trying to do? Keeper is making an attack. They will. There. I want to keep attack. God, how am I? What am I seeing here? What am I? Let's see. We'll make a agility or insight check. They'll make an agility or insight check against the enemy's defense ability. Defense score. Agility will be agility is used for melee attacks. Agility is used for melee attacks. While insight Insight is used. Insight is used for, well, insight is used for ranged attacks. Agility is used for melee attacks, while insight is used for ranged attacks. If the keeper is successful, they will roll 1d10. They will roll 1d10 plus weapon strength. Plus they will roll 1d10 plus weapon strength. Plus attribute bonus. The keeper's body attribute bonus will be added to melee attacks. While they're See, I could make this very autistic and be like, it's just added to both. It's just the body attribute for both of them. Because it's pulling a bow back, it's pulling or we can tie it more to weapons. We can make it just tied everything to weapons if we want to. Or we can do, or we could just be, we could be cheeky and be like, oh, everything is, like, what do I mean by, like, oh, we can just tie it all to weapons? Because what we could do is, if we go down to the weapons category here, hello, all you weapons over here. What we do here, and we just, there's an example for, like, just a very, very simple example. All of you, no, we don't need. If we do this, we just make this black. What we could do is actually we've got all this. We would add in. We take that away. We just merge these two together. We do that. We do you, and then we do like a damage bonus, unless we want to break things down further. Do we want to break weapons down further, or do we want to make this really simple? That's the question. No, we'll just use their agility bonus. Let's see, the keeper's body attribute bonus we add to the melee attacks, while their agility attribute bonus will be added to ranged attacks. Pretty simple. Okay, so yeah, that would just be what it is. Just the the weapon damage plus attribute. So most damage. Let's say I hit you with a large civilian weapon. I hit. I swing. I'm going to do 7 plus 5. I say I have a body of 15. 7 plus 5. That's 12. I dealt 13 damage. Bonk! I hit you right on the face. Isn't a huge amount of damage, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit. I'm gonna take a key from of love. Yeah, no, I don't. I think this works pretty well. I think that should be fine. Yeah. We do attacking. We do. Wouldn't it be a movement? It would be a. We'll do a full defend. To their next defend. Next to their defend check. To the next defend check. Actually, do is we can if a range attack, we'll do range attacks into melee. It's like range attacks into melee. into the melee position. Melee position are at a negative. We're at a negative 30 at a negative 20. Attacks into melee position are at negative 20. Yeah. Actually, no. I'll put a little note at the end, being like, here's some combat situations you might find yourself. Let's see. If they possess. Actually, no. What we'll do, we'll give them a plus. We'll give them a plus 10. Actually, no. We'll give them a plus 20. If they possess a shield, they add their. They add their defense bonus to this as well. Pretty much, if you have a big ass shield, if you're defending, you get a bonus. That's pretty much the basic idea. What we can do a full attack, full defend. What else do we really need? We are hitting you. We can do other action, obviously. We'll do other major action. Other major action. Keepers can perform a major action of their choice, often interacting with objects, or tools within the room. If they are currently hindered in any way, there may be a penalty to this check. Those in the melee position cannot interact with most things in the room, most things in the area, except do we add in objects? Do we add in Ryutama objects? I do like Ryutama objects. I'm gonna put some dots there. I like Ryutama objects, but I've already used Ryutama objects before, and that seems like a kind of a cop out to add to them, like, again, even though they're just a good idea to put in, like, good. Let's see. So, oh yeah, prayer. Let's see. Keeper performs a prayer to Sadar, speaking the holy words or burning a prayer strip. The prayer immediately takes effect. The prayer immediately takes effect. We can do major item. You use large item. Use large item re-equip, and kind of also doing like the idea of like re-equip. The keeper switches out equipment. Switches out equipment on their person. Takes off their backpack. Or uses a major complicated or large item on their person. Switches out equipment, takes off their backpack, or uses a major item on their person. The items must be the items must be with them. Let's see. The items must be with them when using. Let's see. The items must be with them when using them. Any item that would exceed their current weight limit, exceed their current carry amount, is actually must be let's see, actually, how do we want to do Let's see. Using them, any item that is must be with them when using them. If the keeper removes their backpack, they gain their initiative back. They gain their initiative back, but may only keep one small. It can only keep one stack of items. So it's kind of one of those things where if like, that's why traveling packs are really good. You don't need to ever take off your traveling pack in combat. But if you're wearing something heavy, like a raider's backpack, you're taking a -6 to your initiative. That's really bad. If you say, okay, I want to take my backpack off, you can keep one thing on you. I can keep my one stack of potions on me. I can keep my firebomb or whatever on me. I keep one thing on me. It's an option. It's saying, for my initiative, I'm getting rid of all my items. For this, I'm getting rid of my item. The same action may be used. Let's say the same action may be used to gain a. The same action may be used to re-equip a backpack. Recrypt a backpack that has been dropped as well. I'm going to put a footnote. Keepers are assumed to immediately pick their backpacks back up when combat ends. There's a little side note being like, hey, don't be a dick to your players and be like, oh, I took my backpack off, and like, okay, we're leaving the room. You're like, you don't have your backpack anymore because you didn't pick it up. And they're like, no, you immediately pick their backpack up when combat ends. Don't be a dick to your players. Remember, kids, only be a dick to your players when it's funny. Let's see. Equip a backpack that's dropped as well. Let's see. What else am I missing? Actually, so all the time use a technique. The keeper uses a technique that has been given to them. Let's see. Uses a technique that has been given to them by a class training or magic item. You use a technique that has been given to them by a class training or magic item. Making the required checks as you. So pretty much it's the idea of, if I want to use a class feature, it takes a major action to do. I should actually put that, like, use a major technique, like use a big technique. Actually, yeah, we'll use a. And then if we do minor actions, we can do quick attack. The keeper makes an attack. They'll make. Let's see. When a keeper is making an attack, they will make an agility inside versus enemy defense score. Actually, if we do we want to give people a lot of bonus damage? No. When using insight, they're not going to add the D10. It's just going to be weapon damage plus attribute. So the idea being more, if you're like quick action, like minor actions, is like you can, even if you are doing like, I need to like re-equip a weapon or something, then you can make a quick attack. It's just you like drawing a weapon and hitting somebody with it. You're not going to add the 1d10 bonus. You're not going to add the big like, okay, that's a lot more damage. You might only be doing like 3-4 damage. It's a lot more set damage, but You do 2 attacks around, so it's like, okay, I want to attack you one. We want to do focus. We want to do focus. The keeper focuses themselves on their current action. The major grants a plus 20 to their major action this turn. They've already performed an action this turn. Focus does nothing. Like, yeah, focus is not a thing for that. That's not the point. Which we're going to use use minor technique, which is the idea of like there's just a minor ability. Use small item. You use small item. Keeper switches. The keeper uses a small item on person, such as drinking a vial or throwing a knife. The effects resolve immediately. Move. The keeper uses a. The keeper moves up, forward or back one position. Let's see. Moves forward back one position. They would lose if they would be the. They would be the last character in. They would be the last. Okay, yeah. Keepers move forward or back one position. They just move forward or back one. That's all move does. Technically, you can do move twice. You can move 2 positions every turn. Like, this isn't a lot, but it's like, okay, I can move someplace and then move again if I need to get into combat or I need to get out of combat. Actually, I should say, if a keeper is moving out of melee position, if a keeper is moving out of the melee position, must make a luck check. They must make a luck check. Actually, what do we want to do? We want to make a. Would it be a save, or would we be making a? They'd be making a save, or we just make a luck check. I would say let's make a save. I would say let's make an ability save. No, we'll do a horrendous fate save because it's funnier. They must make a horrendous fate save. Actually, no. They must make a luck check at difficult. Luck check equal to the combat skill. Equal to the combat skill equal to the highest combat skill. Highest combat skill of the enemy in front. Of a enemy in the melee position. Pretty much, you have to make a luck check versus their combat skill. It's not going to be a problem for some, but to is like, yeah, hey, I'm in a shitty position and I don't need to be here because I'm taking like a -20 to a bunch of shit because I'm heavily injured. That does mean I'm going to add in a hinder action up here. The keeper, their turn attempting to hinder, block, or inconvenience in enemy. inconvenience an enemy. Must be able to attack the enemy. Must be able to attack the enemy. Actually, now how do I want to do this? Inconvenience the enemy. Requires the keeper to be in the melee or close position against enemies within the melee or close position. Enemy has a negative 10 for negative 10 penalty to their defense and combat skill. Actually, no. Let's do... I guess we can make that hinder here, and we can then do support. We do support. The keeper... takes time to assist by setting up an ally when that ally makes when that setting up let's see, how do we want... Keeper takes time to assist an ally. Granting them a plus 10 to their next action, to their next attack. No. We want to make it offensive or... Yeah, you know what? Ally granting them a plus 10 to their next attack, or using the assistance. Pretty much, it's like, hey, I'm going to assist you in this. Either it's like we're making an attack and you just get a flat plus 10 to, because we're helping you set up an edit, like we're helping you, like we're like, I'm gonna shoot into this to, like, you know, distract the guy or whatever, and you just so you can get a bigger hit in. Or it's like, hey, you want to do some like battlefield fucking medicine to make sure one of our guys aren't dying on the ground. I'm gonna do an assistance rule, and I also have medicine. That means you get you get hope. You get a benefit. It's basic assist, which does. If we go down here, what we'll do is we set you to heading 4. EB Garama. We'll do that. Update heading to match. Then we'll do this for all you. Major action, prayer, loot large item, use technique. I'll probably make these look a little bit nicer later on. I don't want to do it now because I'm lazy. Minor actions would all 4. Little bit more than I was thinking, but it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I need to add in all these different little things I don't think about right off the bat, because I'm gonna the inner blocker and enemy to the combat skill. I guess I can I can fold these together. Actually, you know, let's fold these together, which would be we'll call it support hinder. The keeper spends the term granting one hope or one doom to a enemy within or granting one hope or one doom to a target within range of an attack. An attack or one position. I'm going to put a footnote here because it's really important. Footnote for example, a a keeper may choose to hinder an enemy for the round. May choose to hinder an enemy in melee. Right? Let's see. May choose to hinder an enemy. Actually, a keeper in the melee position may choose to hinder an enemy melee position, or support an ally in close or melee position. So it's kind of like that idea of like, to help one another, you have to be by one another, which is a little bit more inconvenient. But if you are trying to like, oh, as long as I can hit you, technically it's fine. So it's like, okay, I have a ranged weapon. I want to hinder that guy. I'm spending my turn to make your defense and your attack lower. On the upside, I'm making your attack and your defense lower for my minor act. And that's going to persist till the end. Oh, actually, within the... persists until the end of round. There we go. And that's going to go until the end of the round. Be like, okay, so if like 3 of us hinder one guy, his now negative 30, we can land a big hit on him finally. So it's kind of more along the idea of like, okay, we're now kind of working together to like, okay, we're planning things out. We have to work together, but we're burning actions. If I'm supporting or hindering you, I'm not making quick attacks. I'm not focusing. I'm not using a minor technique. You can never use this on yourself. It's always another target. So, and it's not nearly as useful. It requires 2 people to get the same bonus as just focusing. So if you want to focus on getting a big attack in, maybe that's what you want to do. So hopefully that's kind of giving people like, okay, I want to help you out, but how do I help you out the best I can? Maybe it's hinder an enemy. Maybe it's support an ally. So it's kind of that back and forth a little bit. Do I want to support you, or do I want to hinder somebody else? This can also be the only way that you may be able to help one another in certain cases. It's like, this is the only way that I know reliably you will be able to hit because we're inhabiting the same area. I'm going to spend my action to just support you. You're going to get a bonus to this because I cannot afford it. Like, I'm taking a negative fucking 30 to hit. I can make sure that you get a plus 10 to hit. Okay, we've got something at least. We should add in a I guess we could do like other major action. Like, I guess we sub out other major action. We'll add in a other minor action. Can prove a minor action of the elf interacting with objects or tools within the room. So yeah, the idea behind the minor action would be like just something small and quick. Door, for example. Yeah, it's like opening a door. Yeah, that's not going to be a major action. It's like you just open the fucking door. But if you want to do something else, it's going to take a little different. I am going to use the gentleman's room. All right. Okay, we're making good progress. Okay, we're doing it. We gaming. Yeah, actions aren't too complicated. I don't need actions to be super complicated. I just want them to be entertaining, because that's the most important aspect of any of these games. Is it fun? Is it the nebulous thing of being fun, TM? People say I shouldn't really like, doesn't can people say I shouldn't be like ranking things out of like, is this fun? Is this entertaining? I shouldn't be ranking things out of that, but I do anyway. We want to do, blood, sorrow, and agony, damage and injury. Damage and injury. Keeper, the keepers, the keepers have attacked. The keepers have attacked and successfully survived. For now. When an enemy's turn occurs, they will select an action, and then immediately perform it. And immediately perform that action. Oftentimes, these actions immediately perform that action. These will have certain ranges. Certain ranges and attack value and certain ranges and values, but often the keeper will need to make a check against the enemy's attack to successfully mitigate it. In physical combat, there are three main ways to stop incoming damage. Let's see. There are three main ways to stop incoming damage. Dodging. The keeper makes an agility check versus the enemy's combat against the enemy's combat skill. If they beat it, they are successful and avoid the damage. Blocking. The keeper checks their the keeper makes a body check versus the enemy. Actually, that would be makes a health check. No, makes a body check versus the enemy's combat skill. If they beat it, they are successful. They are successful and only take half damage. No. And block damage. A redirect. The keeper redirects all the damage redirects all the damage to ally within the same position as them. Redirects all damage to an ally within the same position as them. They cannot dodge or block. Not block or dodge. Dodge the attack. They cannot block or dodge the attack. See, body check versus combat skill. If they beat it, they are successful. Damage. A majority of the damage, taking only half of it. Redirect. This may seem that dodging is the best course of action, and it is. However, some enemy attacks cannot be dodged. Some enemy attacks cannot be dodged, such as AoE, such as area of effect, or splash attacks, such as area effect attacks. These require the keeper to block or redirect the damage to another keeper. So it's kind of like one of those things, like you can dodge out of the way of most attacks. Like it's like, oh, if you just want to avoid all the damage, you just dodge constantly. Just dodge. That's all you need to do. Blocking is a lot more reliable though, because shields are going to give you a blocking bonus. It's just like you put up the shield, you can block better. Cool, bang, I'm blocking, bang, I'm blocking, bang, I'm blocking, but you're still taking damage, kind of thing. I think the best way to think about it is the big hammer comes down and you can put your shield in front of it. You go, okay, bang, it's that. That's still sending vibrations down your arm. That still hurts like hell. Your body kind of quakes a little bit. You're like, oh, alrighty then, let's keep going. We can do. You're not dead yet, though. You're still clearly upright and standing, just mitigating the damage. But you get a lot of bonuses to it. So it's like kind of that, that's why it's like one of the big things with like warriors and stuff is like damage is so important to them, because it's like we can block a lot of damage. Like we can bring up our shields, we're blocking damage, but it's like slowly and steadily they're just getting worn down. That's why it's like, okay, the backline guys gotta do something. Be like, oh well, why don't you just dodge tank. It's kind of one of those paradoxes, isn't it? It's like, I just need to hit you once while dodging. You need to roll a fucking 1 once. If you roll a 1 and you just fail this attack roll, like you can still just outright fail some of these things, and you're going to take damage. You're going to be on your ass, and you're not going to have a fun time. Like you are suffering, as they say in the hood. You're suffering, and you're not having a good time. It's like. Again, it's agility builds. Like, yeah, you can go full agility build. They just need to hit you once, or they just need to do an AoE attack. You can block AoEs. You can't block that shit. Like, you can block some things. You can't block everything. Dodging this course of action. However, some enemies cannot attack. Enemies may also bring to bear three other methods of harming the keepers. Bloody will do wounds. There'll be wounds, statuses, and terror. We do wounds. Certain attacks will have actually if an attack hits hits for over 20 damage, they will the keeper will make a constitution check, constitution save versus the enemy's combat skill. Well, if they are successful, they avoid the injury. If they are not successful, they will take a wound. Wounds have wounds are a -10 to all actions until they are properly treated. Each successive wound adds on to this, resulting in a pulped keeper, as they are unable to move, act, or fight back. So it's kind of one of those things, like if you take excessive amounts of damage, you're going to be just getting hit for more and more wounds. And if you keep failing those con saves, it's like, okay, I have 3 wounds. I have a -30 to all of my actions now, because I'm in a lot of pain. That might get tweaked up depending on how this might get tweaked up to about 25, depending on how much damage enemies end up doing. But again, I don't want to kill players outright. That's kind of the idea. Like, you can... we're going to also do a status effect. We'll do status effects. Keepers can be inflicted with a variety of different status effects that hinder their abilities or actions. Hinders their ability or health. Many of these at the end of many of these have special effects that will harm the keeper. Below are a small sample of some of the terrible things that can and will occur. On fire. The keeper is on fire. Take 1d10 blood damage. They'll take 1d10 blood damage at the end of every round. End of every round requires a major action to put out from any keep. Requires a major action from any keeper. Keeper within 1 position to put out. You pretty much need to, like, oh god, I'm on fucking fire. You're taking D10 blood damage. Just a lot of fucking blood damage. Poison. We'll do poison. Poison's always 1. The keeper has been poisoned. They take 1d5. They'll take 1d5 blood damage at the end of every round. Requires a potion to successfully end, or ends after 1d rounds. So it's like, oh yeah, hopefully you got poisoned, because you're now fucking poisoned. Poison will do a flame, because that would be technically the correct way of saying that. Or a flame. Let's see some other ones. Bleeding. I talked about bleeding a lot, so we're going to do bleeding. The keeper is bleeding out. What's the primary way this system's combat different from other OSR games? Well, it's 1d100 versus an enemy's combat skill or versus an enemy's defense skill. While they just make you just have to make a defense check against their combat skill to mitigate damage. If you are successful, you're going to do 1d10 plus weapon damage plus attribute bonus and damage. We also have a full battle map system similar to this. Similar to Darkest Dungeon currently, where characters will be set up in a line, desperately trying to manage their position, while the enemy will also be having one of these lines as they find out a way to pretty much manage their resources and manage their survival chances. Most likely, though, the guy in melee combat is going to get hurt a lot, so you need to keep him alive. So it becomes a game of pretty much rushing to make sure the melee guy doesn't die as he gets swarmed by enemies who want nothing more than to rip shreds. Any other questions? So it's much more abstract positioning. Yes, one of the ideas, if you've ever played Darkest Dungeon or ever seen anything on Darkest Dungeon, that's where this is very heavily inspired by. Thank you very much, Noonie. One of the major ideas is that depending on the size of the battlefield, you can stack multiple people in a position. Not only you have the benefit. Yeah, again, this is totally an OSR game, says no one ever. Like, this is not an OSR game at this point. It's not, but totally is. Because again, anything can be an OSR game. That's the joke almost of this entire game. One of the ideas, though, I really want to be like a little bit snarky about things, is the bigger the idea, kind of the bigger the map area is, the more you can stack more allies or enemies in the same location. So it's like, oh, it's time for. However, this is where things get a little bit interesting when it comes to defending yourself. Defending yourself. If I scroll up here a little bit, you have three options. When you've been attacked, you can either dodge, you can try to block the attack, or you can try to redirect an attack. I should say the keeper makes a body check versus enemy comments with a beat. Requires a shield or cover to block ranged attacks. Ooh. So you have the option of saying, okay, this guy's going to attack you with his sword. He's going to swing at you. You just have to either make an agility check versus his combat skill to dodge out of the way. You have to try to block the attack, which you're going to take only half of the damage. This is going to be half the damage that you're only taking. Or you're going to be redirecting the damage to an ally in the same position as you. Those are your three damage when you actually when someone is coming to attack you. Because they don't roll. You roll. So if someone's like, I'm going to hit you for 30 fucking damage, you're like, okay, I'm going to try to dodge that. You're like, all right, time to dodge. Like, oh boy, I can't wait to dodge. Let me just grab this. Click, 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 click. Oh no, I rolled a 32 and I needed a 55. Fuck. You're going to take 30 fucking damage. How would PvP work? You don't. Fun fact, you don't. Technically, what would occur there, it would be opposed rolls. How that would look like is I would be making my D100 plus my bonuses versus your D100 plus your bonuses as we go back and forth blocking it. It's a little bit more time consuming, but you can do it. That's the thing. You can, in theory, do that kind of combat. I would not recommend it, but you can. I will probably have to tweak damage numbers a little bit, simply because I need to make sure that players are doing damage. But yeah, that's how it would be opposed checks. I do have a system for opposed checks. They aren't very common. That's why it's like a side note, effectively, but you can do it. That's all it really boils down to. Is my roll higher than your roll? I'm successful, I've dealt damage to you. You are successful, I have not. If you've blocked or you've dodged, depending on the situation. Or you've just redirected it to your friend, and I've just stabbed your friend in the fucking throat. very large weapon. Technically, you can do 2 attacks around. It would just be a sample attack, a basic attack, and a ranged, and a quick attack. Kurt's idea about attacking, though, is that if you want to use an attack, what you're going to do is you're going to be making an agility or an insight check. You're making an agility check, you're trying to hit with a melee attack, while insight is used for ranged attacks. So pretty much the smarter and more perceptive you are, the more easily you're going to be able to hit someone with a bow or a sling or throwing a weapon at them. Pretty much if you're perceptive, you can aim a little bit better. Agility is like how fast and actually how dexterous you are with a sword or something. Bing, I've hit you. However, your damage bonus primarily comes from either your body attribute for melee or your agility attribute for range. Kind of the idea for body being obviously like that's just how physically tough you are, how much weight, how much damage you're putting behind it. While agility for ranged attacks is primarily going to be based on the idea of just being able to like do that micro repositioning that like I could see you, I'm going to shoot the bow, and it's just like, okay, I damn well know I'm going to tweak a little bit, tweak it a little, tweak it a little. If I wanted to be really cursed, I could just tie everything to body. That just is the bonus one. But I'm afraid there, everyone would become a jacked bodybuilder. That would just be the optimal course of action for every character, just to become a jacked bodybuilder. While funny, not quite what I'm looking for. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question there, Ethical. Any other questions? I'll field anything. Let's see. Let's see. Blocking damage, wounds, status effects of flame, bleeding. They take 1d10. Yeah, imagine not building your system around the strength stat. Yeah, it was like I'm tempted to say, oh, everything uses your body attribute as like just a raw bonus, but I'm afraid there is like, oh, I'm making a range build. And I don't really want to take body because I don't want to be like I'm buff or anything. I'm just like able to hit people really well. So it's like, again, it's priority building. That's what I'm a little bit worried about. That people would just like heavily focus on like just getting their body and agility up, which would be accurate. However, I would say that currently right now ego is the least useful, and I'm going to try to fix that in this next little bit. Bleeding. The keeper's bleeding out. They take 1d10 damage. They take 1d10 damage at the end of the round. At the end of the round. This effect stops when an item is used, and an item is used. What would be another good? What's another good status effect? Actually, okay, rooted. It is stuck in place. They cannot move. They cannot move and take a -22 all attempts to defend themselves. Both. Let's see. Actually, they cannot move or they cannot move or dodge. Keeper's stuck in place. They cannot move or dodge, which doesn't seem really bad until you realize you have to block everything. And hey, oh no, the ranger can no longer dodge, and he doesn't have any fucking shield, so he's taking he just has to take damage on the face sometimes because he can't do anything about it. It's like, haha, bleeding to death. Oh no, my blood, What would be another good? What's another good status effect to kind of just tie everything together? I don't want just another damage one. We can do not charmed. What would be another good? What's another good status effect? Just to be like, okay, yeah, here's like a variety of things that you can do. Be like, this is what you kind of have to. It would be an odd one. Just an odd. A blaze. Yes, a blaze. Luckily, a flame is already a thing. Is it a flame or a blaze? A flame is in flames, burning. A blaze. That's just the same thing. Burning fiercely. Technically, a flame would be the correct answer. But that does give me, what would be the, what would be, actually, no, we do, the keeper has taken too much hash. Too much hash or other mind altering drugs. They have a negative 20. Let's see, they have a negative 20 to all action. They have negative 20 to all actions. They have negative 20 to all action until they have a time to rest or immediate or they time to rest. There we go. Just being fucking strung out. Like, yeah, what are you? I'm just higher than a fucking kite, man. Like, I'm just fucked, man. Like, Frighten is going to be another thing. Frighten's going to be another little system entirely because I have a specific thing for it. I want this. People are talking about Washburn in my server. Goodness. Oh, goodness. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. I got no issue with Washburn. Washburn decided to make his own blue server for some unholy reason because he didn't like people not listening to the actual blue server. So I have a very unique opinion on him, otherwise known as I think he's kind of just... He's a big goof. And I say that in the Canadian way as well. Otherwise known as fighting words. Big goofy. A big goofy goober. See, now that I think about it, you know, now that I know like goof is like fucking fighting words in Canada, I'm like, God help when this fucking SpongeBob movie came out. Holy shit, what the fuck happened there? I mean, like, Dad, I'm a goofy goober. I'm like, holy shit, do not say this, child. You will get shot by the Canadian biker gangs. Like, Jesus Christ, child. What do you want to get killed? That'll always be one of the most amusing. Is that the Teal server? I believe it got posted. It is TTRPG Game Development. Yes, it is the Teal server. Yeah, it's the current here's the thing. I don't know if Soka's even here. No, goof actually has a very odd connotation, but I'll go over this bit first. Is the servers are welcome. Hello. The servers are there's Orange server. That is the former Game Design Guild, GDG. That is primarily from 4chan. It's composed of a lot of people from 4chan TG. That's where I actually post a lot of the, anytime the monthly thread pops up, I post it in there because they're the ones who do everything. They're the ones who are 1-in-1. Blue server. Blue server is primarily based on RRPG design a long time ago, but it was. RRPG design obviously is from Reddit. A lot of people there. And that exploded. That subreddit actually exploded not too long ago, fracturing into a bunch. I think it's been about a year, 2 years? It's been that long. Fuck. That's been kind of just a mess over there for a while. Then we have Teal, which is Washburn's server. Washburn's is an offshoot of the RRPG design, a blue server. That's kind of an offshoot of that one because people were not listening to him on the blue server. That's legitimately the reason why. Because blue server is very large. You joke about green, yellow, and purple servers. There are, I know, at least two offshoots of the GDG because for a while the main guy of GDG, Law, Monchop, if you, he left for a very long time, and other people took control, and it kind of became GFC and Game Finder Chat, Game server for a while. It became kind of a mess. He came back, clean shop. A lot of people went a little bit nuts, and I know there's at least 2 other servers that spiraled off from them. None of them got really big. None of them really got anywhere. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just a lot of how do I, like, I'm part of the teal server. I don't talk in the teal server at all, because that's where why I have a innate dislike of where was it? Smunchy. It's Smunchy Games. I have an innate dislike of Smunchy because he was the one who made a lot of stupid legal things, and he was like, "Oh well, I'm this super cool dev," and I'm like, "Oh well, what games are you?" "Oh well, I did my own card game, and I did it's my own custom super cool card game thing," and I'm like, "Okay, like who's this teacher that you say that you're or whatever?" And it was like, "Oh yeah, it was like a bunch of like industry veterans that he just knew, and they just gave him a bunch of shit, and they like let him like prosper under them, and he has a bunch of industry connections, even though he just does fucking Pathfinder shit most of the time." That's the only reason why people know him. He does Pathfinder shit. I need to go over Parslings. This is a fucking deck building TRPG, and I despise it. I think it's stupid. Yeah, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. Like, they are, let's say they are a lot more Puritan, and if they knew about my Pakistan, I don't think they would appreciate it very much. But my Pakistan is, praise be to Pakistan and all that jazz, you know that. They must never know about TRPG Pakistan. But yeah, no, it's Blue server is, I think the best way to do like the main ones. I think there are other ones, but like the main 2 that I'm like relatively quote unquote relatively active in. Orange server is depressives. That's the problem. It's a lot of TG guys, and there's a lot of depressives in there, and it's a lot of and Noonie, you can back me up on this. It's a lot of people working on their own projects and don't tell anybody else about their projects. Or anytime like another project gets brought up, it's kind of immediately like just like, okay, well, let's talk about my project. And people will do like long posts about their stuff, and then sometimes interact with others. Not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. It's just kind of the culture that's been fostered over the years. There's a reason the GDG threads stopped. Let's just say that. There was a reason the GDG threads stopped. And it's because that server culture, in turn of the thread culture, kind of all mixed together. Because a lot of the old GDG threads, I don't think, like, this is one thing you always got to remember. The old GDG threads, the problem with them, it would be, I want to talk about my game. Okay, I want to talk about my game. Okay, I want to talk about my game. And those 3 people would never talk. It would be, here's all my games, please talk about my game. And those 3 people would never talk to one another. And everyone realized that nobody would ever talk to one another, except if someone posted something really stupid, or someone made like a really stupid, like, how do I do ammo question, or something like that. And then it would be like, in my game, well, in my game, well, in my game. That's why for the amateur game design and homebrew threads, 1, I removed general from the name. That was like a priority for me. And I make it a point, I try to, the past few threads I haven't really needed to. I haven't really needed to, thankfully, and I'm really happy with that, by the way. I kind of made it be like, oh man, I couldn't post my thread so this month, bro. But I was actually pretty happy about that. And that thread's actually gonna probably hit that thread's gonna hit a bump limit, which I'm very happy about. It's been kind of meandering about 250. It might be dead actually, but hey, it hit my goal usually of 150 posts. It hit my goal, and I'm like, okay, cool, it did its job. I posted in there like once, and then I had to do a bunch of shit. Yeah, but I went out of my way and I tried to foster that perception over the past year and a half. I've been doing that for about a year and a half now. I've been trying to foster the idea of like, you respond to everything. Every single thing. I will try to leave messages. I mean, like, this seems interesting. Please tell me more. what about this? I've read this thing. Why don't you do it like this? Why don't you do it like... Even just something to get people engaged and just people talking, just to have that encouragement of, hey, somebody actually read this thing. Like, somebody looked at this, even for just a moment, and says, hey, I like this, or hey, this is fucking stupid, you should kill yourself. I don't think people quite understand how important that is to some people, of just somebody looking at it, and somebody saying, even something, I like this idea, I think it's pretty interesting, I don't know how you're going to do it yet, when you finish it, tell me. Well, I mean, 4chan, everything derived from eventually turns to doom posting. I think the issue with GDG, the orange server, and I say this in the nicest possible way, I've been in GDG for years, I love them all to death, I love everybody there, except a few people. Looking at you, Noonie. No, you're fine. One of the things with orange server is that it was very, it was that culture of everybody being alone but together. And I think that was kind of like an issue that was kind of permeate. And I'm gonna lie. Yeah, it's, exactly that. Your game is shit and your gay is infinitely better than no response. Or in the case you just get, man, it's so pretty and nothing else. Yeah, it's like one of those things, like, it's not really its fault. I'm not gonna say like it's a bad thing. It's not like a good thing. It's just kind of like, it's just kind of how culture goes. But then you get people like Kay in there, who's been working on a full plate harness for so long, and he works on it. He talks about it a lot. They're fascinating. But then you do get a lot of real life stuff in there, mostly from the South Americans, of life being miserable, everyone being sad, because everybody in Orange server is sad and miserable. I think he has a copy available. At least he talks about it a lot. I think he released a final copy. I believe so. He keeps talking about it. I'm like 90%. I thought I saw a link in the last thread. But onto our next piece of lore. Blue server. Blue server is a fascinating beast for a few reasons. Blue server is a fascinating beast, and everybody at home is probably just looking at this screen for like status effects. It's just me wiggling, like fucking meander about things. But Blue server is, as I said before, derived from our RPG design of Reddit server, Reddit subreddit. I believe that. Yeah, that's what it's called. Subreddits. God, I hate Reddit. But it's derived from a subreddit, and a lot of people there. I would say this about Blue server. There is a shit ton of Blue server. There's a lot of people in Blue server. And those lot of people in Blue server have kind of the same idea where people don't talk to one another. They talk about their thing and how they can do it. You also have the unfortunate reality of Reddit culture. And that kind of like... To be fair, an unfinished list of status effects of the VTuber dancing in the corner while talking shit is pretty much a perfect description of their streams. Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. But yeah, back to Blue server. The thing with Blue server is that it is derived from that Reddit mentality in some cases. What I mean by that is there is a lot of right think that goes on. And I mean that, again, I'm not meaning this isn't like a bad thing or a good thing. I'm meaning that is, there are things that people will say, oh, well, I like this, this, and this. This is the only way to do things correctly. And people will try to fight and die on hills that seem a little bit odd, or sometimes they will say like, oh, well, in my game I do it better because I'm better than you. And there is a little bit of Reddit moments. There are a little bit things like that. I would say like the mod team, I say this nicely, the mod team is a mod team. They are Reddit moderators. Some of them I know are Reddit moderators and things like that. They used to be anyway. But one of the bigger things is that a lot of them are derived from a singular company. Technically, Stormforge has, I knew, at least 2 or 3 of the mod teams in his circle. And I know he used to be a mod there for a while. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But it's kind of like these guys have known each other for quite a while. And they, again, it's that kind of that Reddit mentality, that Reddit mod mentality. It's not a bad thing. It's just kind of the nature of things. I'd say the two biggest issues with Blue server really does derive from you have a lot of very strong personalities there. You have a lot of people who join from Reddit and who have maybe never experienced anything outside of the Reddit approved TM threads and all that shit. You can sometimes get grogs, but you can... the mods there are easily some of the best as far as Reddit Discord mods go, as I'm unaware of them grooming even a single person. I've heard they made some weird calls in the past before, and there have been clearly issues that people have like brought up and they've just done nothing about. But it's one of the big things there is that it's a lot of very strong personalities. It's a lot of people who may not know a lot as well. A lot of newbies end up on that server who are like, oh, what games have you played? Oh, I've only played 5th edition. Okay, what else have you, okay, what do you want to make? Well, I want to make a brand new science fiction epic that nobody has ever seen before, and here's my entire novel on it. Like, okay then, oh, let's see Paul Allen's, let's see Paul Allen's document. Oh, you're comparing races to dog breeds. Oh. Oh no! What games have you? Oh, I have tons of games. I have a weekly D&D game on Roll20. Yes, there is a lot of that. What is that about dog breeds? One individual named The Writer. One person named The Writer has his sci-fi setting, and in the sci-fi setting, he posted this very long document of all the various races of this world, and they were all kind of the. There were some races which were, you know what? Where's the breeds? I require dog breeds. Let's see. There we go. Okay, let me find it real fast. Where's the PDF that was posted? I think I have the PDF here somewhere. Okay, I need to let's search for the search for me saying bitch. Yeah, let's see. That's, you say bitch a lot, Ethical. Let's be frank with ourselves here. I think I'm in the same area. Let's see. Bandpitbulls.png. The races of episode. We'll put it in here because I find this funny. This is now a public document, so I can post this with very little. Like, who the fuck cares? Page 1 of 200. Yeah, no, this is the races. This is the dog breed cycle. One of the things is it's like you have the idea of like the gal races, and all of these are technically the same thing. Where's the 14-year-old girls? Yes, the Nixads. Nixads, a pale-skinned, all-female race, surprisingly, who can reproduce with 2 biological females. Although biological males of other race can contribute, which, if continues, results in males that look somewhat like Nixads after 3 generations. Nixads are perpetual young teenagers with every hair and eye color possible, although most of them have blue eyes and black hair. They're a very short race, 4'8" on average, and at most 5'5". They look between 100 and 200 years old. Once they reach their twilight years, they have a bad tendency of dropping dead suddenly. Do not age after reaching 23. Made by a dear friend of mine. Let's see, where was the line? Let's see, 31 each of these races is more like a dog breed than a race as imagined in popular culture. So, kind of just... We're not gonna... Probably underage get put on... Like, no, it's... Like, here's the thing. This is the big thing with it. That's the kind of the people you see on Blue server. High-minded, maybe not the smartest beasts, and maybe not the smartest individuals. They're Redditors. I say that nicely. They're Redditors. They're Redditores. Probably some great ideas somewhere, but the problem is a lot of them are Redditors, and they want to fight people, and they get mad, and they sometimes don't understand jokes, and sometimes they just don't understand that they think they're geniuses. Yeah, and sometimes they don't understand, like, here's the best way. On GDG, on game design, amateur thread, on TG, and Orange server, and on Orange server in general, I can say, dude, this game sucks. Fuck you. What the fuck are you thinking? You are a goblinoid dumbass. Blue server, the mod would show up within about 15 minutes because someone would be crying, mod, he's being mean to me, he's not being productive. It's the kind of shit you get in Blue server, which is, there's a guy the other day that I was trying to help this guy because he wanted to make a hex, he wanted to make a hex crawl, and he was like, how many hexes are fun and how big should they be? I'm like, okay, what are you doing? What size? Okay, the average human walking speed is about 25 miles, is roughly about 25 miles in an 8-hour day. Let's just like, okay, nice round number, 25 miles in an 8-hour day. And it's like, okay, like, he's like, no, I don't care about walking speed. I just want to know what's fun. I'm trying to tell you that you need to actually, like, plan ahead for these things. He's like, what do you want about it? It's like one of those things, like, that it goes back and forth constantly with shit like that, where people just don't quite understand about, like, I wouldn't say the deeper ramifications of game design. It sounds like a pretentious fucking nightmare, but it's a case of people have no context. Like, even in some cases, and some people claim they have context. Like, I've been gaming for 30 years, and I'm so cool, and I'm gonna have games. And it's just like, okay, what are you doing then? What games have you written and published? Because you've had 30 years experience, you should have published something by now. Anything. You're like, oh no, everything's been on a website. What do you mean it's been on a website? I don't have the website anymore. Okay, then post some then. Yeah, it's like, I think game feel and not math. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to give you game feel too, because people are gonna bitch and moan if they can only move one hex in a full day, if it doesn't make sense. And like, I'm like trying to help. Like, it's a lot of things like that, and then it's like, I've tried my best, and if in case you don't quite know who I'm talking about with the I've been designing game for 30 fucking years, it's the Elephant. The Elephant is Wayfarer Games. I don't know anything else about the guy. Wuso, you can ask Wuso. Wuso has probably got his social security number by now. Anytime he pops up, I ignore him. I don't have a website, except when he does have a website, but he is also a tech genius. And remember that, he's a tech genius. He also works at like 7-Eleven. Like, the PDFs were destroyed in my car crash. Yeah, it's shit like that. Like, it's like, dog ate my Discord. Yeah, it's a lot of that when it comes to Blue server, where it's a lot of people yelling at one another, a lot of people getting really pissy on, and it's a lot of, there's a lot of right think that goes on. A lot of, you gotta have the right thinking. You gotta right think. Don't right think you're doing it wrong. Like, technically what I should do is I should back up all my games. I have everything on Google Drive. I don't post anything too naughty, so Google won't crack down on me about it. But generally speaking, if you want the widest breadth of opinions, Blue server is the way to go, because you're going to get a lot of fucking people there. And sometimes you will get genuine conversation there. You sometimes will get some genuine conversation. Other times, people will spend an entire day debating about why we shouldn't do money certain ways because the game feel isn't correct, and I don't like money because in my system I don't do money. You will have entire days like that. You'll have entire days of people just bitching about stupid shit. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Nothing you can really do about it. Like, nothing like, oh, it's time to be like this right now. People be doing people things. You know how it goes. I would say that, I started an argument about katana prices. That you get people being like, it's like this, it's like this. Don't worry, no, but I archived all your games. They're on the SSD next to the shrine in my closet. oh no. But yeah, that's kind of the basics there. Teal server. I haven't been in Teal server for a long time. It's a Reddit Discord. Come on, Scribble. That's a fucking. I would say like one of the bigger issues, like blue servers. Fine if you want like just simple questions answered, or you just want to like, yeah, how best to word it. You go to blue server to talk about things that are meaningless, and like you just want to just speak words, if that makes sense. Orange server, well, you'll get some good information out of orange server reliably, but there will be some circular conversations going on. I'm just seeing a bunch of my people from my server join the fucking orange server. I'll just send out. You can vent. I would say you can vent in orange server and Lamentations of the Dev Princess. Blue server, you can just rant in your own little private channel. But nobody will visit anybody else's private channel. That is a guaranteed fact, unless you ping people incessantly. Unless you ping people incessantly, your channel, people will not visit your private Idaho. I post my videos in my channel mostly. I don't even post any game progress in there because there's no reason to, unless I want to just talk to myself. And if I want to talk to myself, I'll just do that in meandering thoughts. Because that's what I can do there. But yeah, no, it's, generally speaking, it's, let's see, there's, the only other game design there aren't many game design servers out there. It just... Yeah, it's kind of hard to... People went to my channel a few times. Yeah, people go... Yeah, sometimes they will just... I think there are literally people who will just visit other channels randomly. It's hard to be like, it's time, I'm gonna join this channel. I don't know why, but it just does. More doing things. Terror and despair. Keepers encountering extreme keepers encountering extreme situations or terrifying monsters may find themselves flinching in fear. This momentary flinch This momentary flinch may be, and this momentary lapse of judgment may be the difference between life and death. Maybe the difference between life and death. When a horror-inducing monster or trap is sprung. When a horror-inducing monster or trap is sprung, is the horror-inducing monster used. Horror-inducing monster appears and each of the keepers will make a here, double checking, make sure I got all the fucking names right, because I'm make a stability. We'll make a stability save versus the enemy's combat skill. Enemy's terror skill. If they are successful, they manage to push through their terror and confront the enemy. If they fail this save, then fear grips their hearts. And they cannot act on the first round of combat. And may only perform defensive actions at a negative 20. Certain enemies may be able to induce this fear well. When this occurs, they will when this occurs, the keeper will either have to make an ego check versus the skill equal to the skill rating, or make a stability save versus. Yeah, the idea here being it's more along the lines of like, hey, you can either try to just raw face it on like with just your ego, or you can attempt to use your stability save to do it, which is some maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, just depending on your insight. So it's like, okay, if you have like a pretty low ego but really good insight, you may just want to try that save versus I'm just going to use ego. I'm going to power through it. Death awaits slightest lapse of concentration. Yeah, pretty much. There's obviously D about messages in Discord, so I'll mute every category. Or yeah, that kind of drives me up the wall sometimes. I kind of just ignore it at this point. So what you're saying is the death awaits slice left, yeah. I have exactly 2 unread main email, and those are because they are important emails, and I don't want. I like having them there just to say, oh, cool, I have emails, because I'm sad. I'm a sad and miserable. But do that. Despair and despair. Oh. Horror-inducing monster versus enemy's terror skill. If they are successful, they manage to push through the terror and confront the enemy. Fail to save, and fear grips their heart. combat. Go. Is spare. A certain event, certain events. No, we'll just keep that as its own thing. There we go. We can make wounds are pretty awful because you're taking penalties to everything. Terror is pretty awful. Like the idea of like terror is scary because you might take heavier wounds, so it's kind of just everything feeds into each other. Regardless, defend, let's see, round. As the keeper rallies them. There we go. Rallies them. Blood sorrow ag, damage and injury. So we're taking damage. Oh no, we're taking a lot of hurts. We are injured. We are hurt. We are in danger. We are suffering. Hit that button. So that means we're all combat is effectively done. So do 10 o'clock right now. We're approaching on 4 hours. All right, get out of here. Rest, relax, do what you gotta do. Rest, relax, just do it. Do it. Do I want to do dungeoneering? Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do dungeoneering. I'm gonna do this off camera. So, I'm gonna call it there. We didn't get a lot done, but we did struggle through, and I got to rant about things. Like ranting is. Probably I'm gonna clean up this section quite a bit. All I need to do is just make it prettier and add probably here just to make things look nicer, and debate if I want to add items or like things like that. Half of me does, half of me doesn't. It's kind of like when I get to pretty much Wednesday, the goal with Wednesday is I want to get prayers and advancement done. These are effectively magic spells. Advancement is effectively like all the levels and classes and shit like that. That might be a notepad must die. I might just power through and do a bunch of shit tomorrow and just get as much as I can done. I don't know. I'm thinking on it. We might have to push till Wednesday. I don't want to, but push till Friday, but it happens. So I'm gonna call it there. Godspeed, good luck. Hopefully you all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will see you all maybe tomorrow. You might do a stream tomorrow. We might not, depending on how fast I can get Battlefleet done. Battlefleet is a very odd game to talk about, and it's going to be amusing to talk about regardless. So, sayonara. Comments. You're a game review. Yeah.